What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It's time now for the Tuesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. We do have several news stories to share with you today. First off, COVID-19 linked to elevated risk of type 1 diabetes in young children. This is not a good thing at all. And for those who do not know, type 1 diabetes is worse than type 2 diabetes. So, this news right here is alarming enough to say, hey, what are we doing? Why are we letting our kids get infected? We need to do something. I have had a relative who died of diabetes. Diabetes is no joke, and COVID-19 can cause elevated risk of it in children. We also know it increases the risk in adults as well. We've read stories on that in the past, so yes, this is not a good finding. Then we come over to this. Workplace COVID outbreaks on the rise as case numbers slowly increase. And I believe this is from CBS News in California, but you know what? It's likely happening all across the country. Then we come over to this. A state representative out of the state of Utah has tested positive for COVID. But not only did she test positive, she's hospitalized with COVID. A Judy Weeks Roner is dealing with COVID, and she came down with the illness about 2 weeks ago and has been hospitalized for 1 week. So, no, this is not good, and this is actually an unusual case. Usually we see them say, oh, I'm mild, I'm doing fine. Well, no, this person's not, and I don't see anything about vaccination status. This was the only article I could find on this. I would like to know if she's actually vaccinated. Don't know. Moving on to this now. Allegheny County, this is in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of Allegheny counties in the country. This one is in Pennsylvania. So an Allegheny County jail is reporting 60 inmates recently tested positive for COVID-19. Yep. Just more proof that the pandemic does rage on. All right, moving on to this from Florida. We're going to show you two things here. First, I'm going to show you this. As a late summer uptick continues, Florida passes 90,000 COVID deaths. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because Florida is the do not care state. In other words, their governor was saying, oh, we need to stop with the COVID theatrical and this and that. Well, hello, you have one of the highest numbers of deaths in the entire country. I get it, you have a higher population, but your deaths, 90,000 COVID deaths in Florida now. There's 50 states in this country. There's roughly, I think last I checked, maybe close to about 1.3 million deaths around the country now, something like that. Well, 90,000 of them come from Florida alone, and we know this number could very well be an undercount. Totally ridiculous. Here's how ridiculous Florida is. So this is from COVID Act Now's website. I call this, this is a minimizing map. It really is. It says community risk level. It shows everywhere green. Well, you and I both know we are in a surge around the country right now. So obviously this green nonsense is not true. But again, this is a minimizing map. Despite how much green there is, despite how much they try to minimize, Florida still shows up at the moderate level. Yeah, Florida's not low, it's not high. Florida is at the moderate level. So that just goes to show you how bad Florida's doing. Despite how high things have gotten in New York, California, Texas, we know Texas has been rising. It's still not enough to change this map from being green. However, it is enough that Florida is in the moderate, which is just totally ridiculous. Take a look at the counties here. Look how many counties in Florida just have atrocious levels of COVID. Can we click on this? Yeah, we can. Look at this. Volusia County, Orange County. All these counties, they're in the medium risk for COVID. That's just ridiculous. Florida, start taking this seriously, please. Stop playing this nonsense. I know I'm just speaking to a brick wall, because as long as a certain someone, oh, I'll name him, Ron DeSantis is in there, it's still going to be a problem. All right, there's this, hospitalizations from the CDC. Look at this. And this shows region 4 here. Okay, but in this region 4, look at this. the hospitalizations have slowed off a little bit. And that seems to potentially be a theme around the country. I don't want to call a peak yet in the United States, but we may be getting closer to it. So we'll have to see what happens here. And then there was this. Aerosmith postpones multiple concerts as Steven Tyler suffers vocal cord damage. I mean, it just doesn't end with these celebrities. And don't tell me, well, that's not related to COVID. Okay, it doesn't have to be. Do you not notice a theme here? There are so many musicians right now of all ages just dealing with health issues. Is it because they're overworking themselves from the shutdown period they're trying to make up? Maybe they're trying to make up money. Maybe they're trying to make up shows that they want to do. I don't know, but man, there are just so many different musicians, bands, groups that are just dealing with illnesses. Aerosmith, Bruce Springsteen, Pearl Jam, Metallica. I mean, on and on it goes. It's just crazy. By the way, since we're taking a look at here, a tweet from Meet Jess. In case you've forgotten, tonight I am going to be doing a space with Meet Jess on Alzheimer's and dementia. And yes, I do intend, we'll probably draw the link between COVID in this, because we know COVID, it does cause Alzheimer's and dementia to get worse. All right, let's take a look at air quality values for today. That's it for the news portion of our update. Air quality, you know what? It's not terrible, but we do have these yellow areas. And you can see there's quite a few yellow areas. The New England, not doing too bad at this time. You go to places like Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, not bad. Montana, not bad. But then you get into northern Idaho's a little yellow. California and Oregon, your air quality for the last couple days has been starting to get worse. Also, I am noting what's going on here in Texas. We do have slightly higher air qualities here. Alabama as well. I do see a place over 100. And what's with this site down here near D.C. that's at 424? Anyone know about a fire there? If you do, let me know down below. All right, let's take a look at the BA 2.86 counter. It still stands at 107. United Kingdom, 36 cases. South Africa, 17. Denmark, 12. United States, 8. Alrighty. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Let's take a brief look at Walgreens. We'll take a look at the Walgreens national positivity. We're not going to go through any states today. National positivity is at 40.6%. Prior week was 40.2%. Difference of 0.4%. 4,733 tests, which is down from 6,732. All right, let's refresh BioBot, shall we? Sometimes they do corrections on Tuesdays. It usually comes in the evening if they do one. As you can see here, there is no change. The Midwest is still rising. The West Coast is leveling off. The Northeast is trying to level off. And the South is starting to drop. We'll see, though. That could refresh tonight. I'll tweet out if it does change. Wastewater around the country. Take a look at this. You can see wastewater here. There's quite a few red and orange sites. We did a wastewater update on Sunday. You can check that out. It's go down to a few videos down below. Now let's go over to this, the variance. EG.5 is 21.5%, FL 1.5.1 is at 14.5%, and HV.1, which we're going to have to watch. It's sounding like HV.1 could be what causes a wave at some point in October. It is now up to 5.1%. Again, we still don't know what BA 2.86 is going to do. And given we did not see any new cases with that today, that's a sign of encouragement. All right, let's take a look at New Jersey. And first thing I want to show you today in New Jersey, I thought this was rather alarming. I actually clicked on the outbreaks. It says active outbreaks. This is for long-term care facilities, 175. And it says here, facilities reported case counts. Recent cases, 1,557. Resident deaths in the active outbreaks, there's been 20, so that's not good. Folks, we're supposed to be keeping the people in long-term care facilities, nursing homes, old age homes, whatever. We're supposed to be keeping them safe. And here we are, we still have deaths from it. Ridiculous. Staff cases, 659. So if the staff are getting it and they're coming into work, they're spreading it to the residents. Totally unacceptable and ridiculous. Oh, wait a second, we don't want to go there yet. We want to take a look at hospitalizations in New Jersey. They did correct 473, 15 people on a ventilator in the ICU, 56 people in the intensive care unit. And let's take a look at discharges. 41 people have been discharged. Now let's take a look at Philadelphia. 805 EMS incidents yesterday. Again, that's over 800, so that is concerning. Taking a look right now at what's going on in the suburbs, you can see it is a little bit busy in Montgomery County. Quite a few different calls here. Head injuries, falls. I'm seeing cardiac arrest. I'm seeing stroke. Those are not good calls. Here, Chester County. Chester County's not doing too bad right now. I do see respiratory sick person. Again, quite a few fall calls there as well. Now let's take a look at New York State. 1,921 new cases, which does include reinfections. Taking a look at New York State hospitalizations, I'm just going to refresh this because either way it's going to refresh. And you can see here, the hospitalizations in New York State, they rose today. They clearly rose. But what we need to see is last week there was a day missing, and you can see that here. The prior week there was 5 days that reported. They only reported 4 days last week. We'll have to see if they're starting to slow down. Let me show you why. First off, 1,493 people in hospital. In the ICU, 133. Then we come over here to admissions. Take a look at admissions. Now last week had a lagged day because only 4 days reported. We'll have to see what happens again tomorrow. Admissions, they kind of slowed down a little bit, at least I think they did. But we need to see several more days of data and next week to make a conclusion that, hey, maybe New York State is slowing down. And yesterday they had 624 admissions. New York City had 291 admissions, and the current hospitalizations in New York City are at 679. In the ICU, New York City has 66 people in the ICU at this time. Now let's take a look at some international data, and surprisingly, I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but there's some countries that are not listed here anymore. Germany, I'm not seeing. Japan, I'm not seeing. And some of these numbers are just not making sense. Like United States down 57%. We obviously know that's wrong. Russia, cases up 30%. Deaths up 45%. Romania, wow, what's this? Okay, so Romania apparently did not report last, or they're putting a 0 here. Now it's saying 4,772, and suddenly their deaths went from 0 to 12. Don't know what that's about. We may start not using this site pretty soon. Belgium, cases up 12%. Then you come over here to deaths, 0. New Zealand, deaths are up 12%. Cases are down 5%. And then we come down here to, let's see here, Hong Kong, up 10% for cases, 5 deaths versus 0. That's why it says 500%. Poland, cases now up 48%, 0 deaths reported. Bulgaria, cases up 33%, deaths up 33%. India, cases are now up 68%. That's a pretty big increase for India. We might start going back to their daily cases pretty soon. Maybe we won't put it at the start of the video, but we'll put it somewhere within the video. And finally, let's end today on Vietnam. Vietnam cases are up 28% with 0 deaths reported. Alrighty guys, that's all I have for today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. And if you know anyone that needs to see these videos, by all means, share this with them. And if I did not already mention it, which I think I did earlier, I am doing the space on Twitter tonight about dementia and Alzheimer's with @MeetJess. It'll be tonight at 8:30. Hope to see people there. And if you have a question, by all means, ask a question on that. Alrighty guys, I will see you all again next time, but until I see you again next time, stay safe everyone and have a great afternoon.